Hello everybody, it is me here, Mr. Truth, and in today's video I wanted to do an in-depth full scouting report on the University of Washington quarterback Michael Penix Jr. Now, we got to start off with the games on tape, on film that I've watched of Michael Penix Jr. at quarterback for the University of Washington. Here is the full extended list of games I watched of Michael Penix on tape. These all first ones are 2022 versus Kent State, versus Michigan State, versus Stanford, at UCLA, at Arizona State versus Arizona, versus Oregon State versus Oregon, versus Boise State in 2023, versus Michigan State in 2023, and in 2023 as well versus Tulsa. Seeing as I sort of nailed my draft prediction of Will Levis and where he would go in that year's NFL draft class in November by predicting, he'd be taken in the second round, I thought, I might as well get back into the swing of things, doing scouting reports for potential prospects at the quarterback position in the NFL by scouting quarterback Michael Penix Jr. Now, Penix is a very rare breed of quarterback, if you're asking me. He has that prototypical sort of NFL frame and NFL caliber arm, good mobility, and he does all of this while being a left-handed quarterback, a lefty. There are not many lefties. The only lefty starter I can name in the NFL is Tua Tagovailoa currently. Now, watching game film of Michael Penix was extremely entertaining, as he is really not afraid to take a shot deep down the field, and he clearly has every single tool to one day become a starting caliber quarterback in the NFL. However, there are some important things that Michael Penix will need to sort of touch up on if he wants not only to improve his game, but potentially his draft stock as well, going into next year's draft. So, without any more nonsense, without further ado, let's just start off with the positives of Michael Penix Jr.'s electrifying game at QB. I'll start off by saying that Penix's great arm talent becomes immediately apparent the second that you see him throw the ball outside of the hashes and the numbers. He is able to zip the football into tight windows and over the middle of the field with relative ease while remaining poised in that pocket. He can rifle the ball to any location down the field without a problem, whether it's on the sideline for an out route or launching it on a post route deep, which Washington's offense and their coordinator loves to call a lot of deep post routes and sort of curl routes to the sideline or comebacks to the sideline a bit outside the numbers to the sideline. You'll see them call those sort of plays on the game film, and they call a lot of that, and that's because Penix has the natural gifted arm talent to continually throw those routes over and over without really having any problem doing it whatsoever. Michael Penix also has a very quick, smooth, and fluid throwing motion, which allows him to get the football out of his hands very fast. I was particularly impressed by how fast he loads up to throw a deep ball, as he wastes no time whatsoever launching it directly down the field to his target. This, plus his adequate throw timing on certain routes, makes a thrown ball that is very hard for a defensive back to get to in time, and that's what it's all about, preventing mediocre to bad ball placement. If you have good ball placement at the college level, more than likely your ball placement is going to be pretty solid in the NFL as well. And throwing on the move for Michael Penix, isn't really an issue either. There were a couple of instances on the game film where Penix easily gunned it into a shrinking window on the move pretty effortlessly. And this is obviously a skill that's going to be very valued by NFL general managers. And because the quarterback position is becoming more and more about, improvising and playmaking with each passing year. Now, if you combine this with his ability to scramble for chunk yardage plays, Penix becomes basically an instant threat not only to throw the ball, but to run the ball on your team as well. Dual threat quarterback in the modern era of football is the best type of quarterback in the modern era of football. Now, this year in 2023, the first 3 games, he really hasn't ran much. That's because he's had all day to throw. There's no reason to sort of extend the play, try to make a play for yourself when you have like 6 seconds to throw. And this could be a knock on his game, to be honest, because he has almost a little way too much time to throw. Obviously, guys are going to get open, but his accuracy and just his poise in the pocket are just absolutely incredible. And I could not help but be impressed by Penix's accuracy on every single level of the field. He constantly is able to throw the ball only to where his wideout can make a play on it. And he's able to put touch on a ball deep, and is also capable of staying calm under pressure and firing a strike to a receiver just breaking open. Now, his 65.7 completion percentage in the 2022 season was higher than Bryce Young's out of Alabama, who was the first overall pick in the draft selected by the Carolina Panthers organization. And currently, his 74.3 completion percentage after 3 weeks in the 2023 college football season is the third highest of all QBs with over 100 passing attempts on the season. Penix is honestly one of the most resilient and tough quarterbacks in this entire upcoming NFL draft class. Scrap quarterbacks, maybe players in general, he might be one of the toughest and resilient players in this upcoming draft class. With everything that Penix has been through, including loads of injuries, a seemingly major fall-off in production in 2021 with Indiana Hoosiers, and other setbacks, Penix has fought through it all and come out the other end being more successful than anyone could ever imagine him being. His leadership ability, work ethic, and motivation will instantly be recognized by NFL general managers as one of his key top upsides going into the draft. Now, that's about all I have for Michael Penix's positives. Now, we'll discuss the negatives that I found in Michael Penix Jr.'s game. When reviewing the game film on Michael Penix Jr., I found that most of his incompletions were passes that were sailed much too high. I figured out this is mainly when he's throwing off platform, as his mechanics can, sometimes come unglued, which in turn leads to a ball that is completely uncatchable for the wide receiver. Some of these passes were also into traffic, which we will never want in the NFL. I've seen as a sailed pass over the middle, especially, can lead to disaster. Those safeties are going to break on that immediately and intercept that. So, I'm hoping that this is something that Penix, is working on resolving. And right now, as of 3 weeks, it looks really, really promising because over the middle, he's not really sailing any passes over the middle. It's mainly to the sideline where, the interception rate of a sailed pass to the sideline, it's just going to go out of bounds. So a sailed pass to the sideline is really, you can do no harm with that because the odds of an interception of a high pass to the sideline are, it's damn near impossible. But over the middle, if you sail a pass, a safety could just be right there, or a really deep linebacker could just be right there, just break on it quick and intercept it and try to return it to the house for a touchdown. He also occasionally throws incredibly risky passes into pretty tight coverage. When I reviewed his game film, he was a gunslinger that obviously wasn't afraid to take a risk whatsoever, which can also, it can be a blessing, but it can also be a really, really bad curse. Well, the offense he ran at Washington, was very pass happy, especially when it came to throwing it deep, and that's shown by his 4,641 passing yards, which was second in the entire country in 2022. He often made some bad-looking throws that would simply not fly in the NFL. So we're looking for him this year, and so far he's delivered to, take what the defense is giving him and not throw too many risky passes. I'm seeing some moderate improvements on that so far in the game tape I'm studying of Michael Penix so far over 3 games versus Tulsa, versus Michigan State, and versus Boise State. And now it's time to discuss the elephant in the room. Penix is incredibly injury-prone and has an extensive history of injuries, including 2 ACL tears in 2018, 2020, a sternoclavicular. I don't know if I pronounced that right. I've probably fucked that up, but who cares? At this point, who gives a shit? Joint injury in 2019 and an AC shoulder joint problem in 2021. Penix has missed a mind-boggling 25 games. 25 games in his college football career due to injury, which is not only shocking, but it could also just be a really huge issue going into this year's NFL draft. How can a team trust him to stay healthy when he has basically missed half of his potential college starts? How can you trust that guy? But as long as he's able to stay totally healthy for this upcoming season, for the season that's happening right now, he could be a high draft choice. But right now, it's still, the question still remains unanswered because he could get hurt any game. And you don't want to see this kid getting hurt because then you say, okay, he already has an injury history. The guy's undraftable. You can't pick him. But Michael Penix Jr. overall is absolutely electrifying, but does have some obvious flaws that will certainly need to be ironed out heading into the National Football League. Penix obviously has the size, the arm, the dual threat playmaking ability, and the accuracy that is needed to succeed in the long term in the NFL, but his seemingly long injury history could also play a big factor in if he gets drafted highly or not. Now, if Penix is able to stay healthy and put up, similar production, which right now, 3 weeks in, it looks like he could, match that production or even top it, I could definitely see a team picking him in the middle part of the 2024 NFL Draft. My overall player grade for Washington quarterback Michael Penix Jr. is a middle first-round pick, and my overall point grade for Michael Penix Jr. is a 7.5, which is a good starting quarterback in the NFL. Man, this was a pretty long write-up I did. I spent some time thinking of what I wanted to write down and, some of the pros and cons of his game. But I'm going to give you all the footnotes right now, just a condensed version of the scouting report I basically just gave you. So here is the Michael Penix Jr. scouting report footnotes. NFL caliber arm with solid mobility, prototypical NFL quarterback frame, throws a tight spiral, able to throw into tight windows, scans through progressions well enough, decent play action game, good pump fake, great zip-on throws outside the hashes, adequate on timing routes, fluid in quick throwing motion for a left-handed quarterback, remains calm under duress, remarkable ability to overcome adversity, extremely poised and tough, great leader of men, phenomenal protection in 2022 season, sometimes sails the ball high, occasionally throws risky passes into tight coverage, rarely played under center, inconsistent mechanics, commonly cause inaccurate passes, very injury prone and incredibly extensive injury history. Thank you all for watching the scouting report on Washington quarterback Michael Penix Jr. This has been Mr. Truth, and this was nothing but the truth. Peace out.